What's up everyone, Shadow Taurus here to bring you another power scaling video. And today's topic is one dear to my heart due to the character we're talking about. Today we'll be power scaling Hiruzen Sarutobi from Naruto to see just how strong he really is. Now I've noticed a lot of people in the Naruto power scaling community really try to downplay Hiruzen or use him to upscale people who have no business being upscaled. So without further ado, let's get into the first section of this video by talking about some misconceptions surrounding his scaling. Now, whenever people talk about power scaling Hiruzen, one of the very first things that people bring up is his fight with Orochimaru back in part 1. I actually had a long conversation about this topic with my good friends Kosu-Sama and Grim the Fan King, but it seems a lot of people like to think that Orochimaru is relative to Hiruzen and potentially stronger than him, but I'm afraid that that is not the case in any capacity. During their fight, not only was Hiruzen mentally suppressed due to him not wanting to kill or even fight his former student Orochimaru, as shown when he let him go in a flashback, but he also had to fight two of the previous Hokage via Edo Tensei, which these were Tobirama, his teacher, and Hashirama, the first Hokage. And I'm well aware they are Edo Tensei and not at their full power, but they are still Hashirama and Tobirama. As well, you could even argue that seeing his former teacher could have held him back even more due to him kinda letting him die. Later in this same fight, after Hiruzen had been fighting Tobirama and Hashirama for some time, he finally managed to resolve himself to actually kill Orochimaru. Then he was blinded by the first Hokage, hit multiple times with kunais and cut, used the Reaper Death Seal twice with 2 Shadow Clones, all before engaging Orochimaru, who he effortlessly disarms. Disarms, you know, because he got his arm sealed? Alright, moving on. It clearly shows that Hiruzen, even while extremely fatigued and badly injured, was still able to body Orochimaru. So it's safe to say that they do not scale each other, and Orochimaru is way below Hiruzen. Now, let's talk real quick about why people say they scale together. Now, there are 2 big reasons on why people say he scales Orochimaru. The first is because of a statement from Hiruzen, and the second is a statement from Orochimaru. Now, let's go over the first statement from Hiruzen, which he states, "I suspect that not even I could face him." Now, this quote typically is taken out of context and not looked at while looking at Hiruzen's character. The biggest reason he believes he can't beat Orochimaru is because he could not bring himself to harm his student until he finally managed to resolve himself to kill Orochimaru. This is shown in the past when Hiruzen was unable to kill and just let him go. As Hiruzen said, "You were right, I couldn't kill you." The next statement was made by Orochimaru, which he states, "If you had been even 10 years younger, you might have been able to kill me." Which, this statement once again is taken out of context. His statement was mainly referring to the fact that Hiruzen was so old that he didn't have the strength to pull out Orochimaru's soul. Orochimaru was not referring to his combat strength in any capacity. I hope this section has proven to you why Hiruzen scales way above Orochimaru, but then that brings up the question, how high does Hiruzen scale? Well, let's talk about that in section 2. Now, we really get to see how strong Hiruzen is during the War Arc of Naruto. One of his best feats, in fact, is the time that he saved Naruto from the God Tree. As well, in that same scene, Tobirama tried to leap in an attempt to save Naruto, but Hiruzen managed to outspeed him greatly and destroy the roots of the God Tree that was holding Naruto. And even Tobirama didn't realize what Hiruzen did until after the fact. As well, Hiruzen is incredibly intelligent, able to analyze the truth-seeking orbs only from seeing them once, and was even stated by Orochimaru that he mastered all existing jutsu in Konoha. But this does not hold a candle to Hiruzen's greatest feat in my opinion. But before that feat, let's get some context. Now, at this point, Obito had absorbed the Ten Tails, though they were not fully in sync yet, and in a moment, Obito speed blitzed both the first and second Hokages without difficulty. He then set his sights on Hiruzen, who managed to dodge one of his truth-seeking orbs, though it did graze his shoulder. The fact that he was able even to react to one of Obito's attacks, which even the first Hokage couldn't do, is extremely impressive. This potentially scales him above Hashirama, which again is extremely impressive. And you also have to remember that this is still old man Hiruzen, who is an Edo Tensei. He could have been much stronger in his prime, but this just goes to show how strong Hiruzen is. And that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope it was also able to clarify just how strong Hiruzen actually is. If you have any problems with my scaling and wish to discuss it in further detail, feel free to hit me up. I typically reside in the Holy Kingdom of Pins run by the wonderful Clothespin, but link will be in description. Anyways, have a nice day!